All right, do we need to do approval of last month's minutes? Anybody want to make a motion to approve?
I do. I will.
That's Abby, I think.
Yep.
And then do you have a
Yes.
second?
Second, is it good?
Great.
I didn't
Steve, will you second that? Sorry, just real quick. Steve, will you second that?
Yeah, that's fine.
There we go. That's what we needed.
Thanks, Steve.
You're welcome.
Visitor comments.
Peter from Fire and Facet is here. You can see him on screen, sitting right next to Fran. So I will turn it over to him to discuss holiday idea.
Good morning, everybody. Being a new business or fairly new business here, I've been trying to think of ideas to help sort of make Old Orchard a destination, and I think we're all headed that way. I've been really excited about what I've seen in the last couple of years. With regards to the holidays, my proposal, and I know that I had spoken to Fran, since the tree had to be taken down for the tree lighting, we had talked about possibly putting some small carnival rides over there by Steve's store in the street. And I've actually spoken to Steve about this too. My other idea is where my store faces on Summit Avenue. If you all are familiar with Jack, who heads up Miracle on Summit for benefiting Operation Food Search, I would really love to get a Ferris wheel for one day or one evening to put on that block right there and have that section blocked off. I happen to have a long history with my family going back about 70 years in the carnival business, and it's been a continuing operation. So that's kind of my thought. And I would like to use these things also to help raise money for Operation Food Search.
So, Madam Chair and members, as we've heard some great ideas. Peter, if you're still available, how about if we have down in, I think, Old Business, the holiday happenings, is that the event? If we sort of combine it all in that space, discuss what Peter's talked about, and then I give you an update on what we've learned since the last meeting, scheduling the reindeer and such that we looked at. Does that work, Madam Chair? You're muted, Holland.
Sorry, that works. We've got lots going on around here.
I get it. So, Peter, not that I want to make you wait. I think that way we get it all in the business side. We can talk about what we're want to look at doing. So, okay.
Just as a clarifier, but doing the carnival and things like that, the cost is, are you looking to Old Orchard to support the cost of that?
To potentially at least offset some of it. I've been talking with my sisters. They do events like this all the time. So, possibly looking at some other businesses to help offset some of the costs for this. But as I said, I was hoping to make this twofold and bringing business to all of us, but also to raise money for Operation Food Search. So we've done that the last 2 years we've been open, and I think it's a great organization. But
do you have costs that you could share or email to the group so that we would have that, or kind of what your vision is of what the cost potentially might be and kind of the
yes, and I
fundraising
can
part?
I'm sorry, I can get with it's my sister who's the president of that particular company. I can get with her today and get some rates and sort of figure out what their availability is. But I want to say, in addition to the Ferris wheel, they have somewhere in the neighborhood of like 25 rides, both for kids and combination kids and adults. So I wanted to make sure it was pretty family friendly and everybody could do it. But yes, I will be happy to get that information to you all.
Thanks. Anybody else have any questions for the visitor? All right.
And welcome, Rick. Just for the record, Rick's hand. So,
Good morning. Apologize. Logging in problems.
All right. Are we moving on then?
Yep.
All right. So Emerson, you seem to be next on the agenda.
Yeah, just your other liaison, Councilmember Sarah Richardson. She had a work conflict with the dates of your meetings, so I'm stepping in to assist her. If your group need anything reported directly to council you want me to mention during our regular meetings, feel free to let me know. I normally take the agenda and pick out anything that's really that's some meat to it to bring back to the council. Things are in transition, like the holiday idea. I'll wait until something's been solidified to make that announcement. So feel free to contact me if anything that you might need.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Emerson.
And Councilmember Smith is also our Old Webster liaison, so the two big districts now have the same liaison to the council.
Perfect. All right, so then we're into old business, and you and Fran had resent sort of the links for holiday lighting options. And I think what we were talking about last time was we've got about 10 lamp posts in this area that we were going to discuss if people had some opinions and ideas for what to do. Don't know if anyone has gotten a chance to go through them or if they have other opinions. I know we were tossing around some snowflakes and some candy canes and some other ones, trying to keep it reasonably priced since it is seasonal, but I didn't know if anyone had thought more about it or had more opinions about it.
And just to recap, I've got it on the screen, Madam Chair and the members. I think last time we were in that, it sounded like I was hearing a consensus to try to keep it not overtly Christmas centric, but rather holiday / winter themed. If we're going to do this, again, you have about 10 poles with power, the new end of the streetscape down by Novel Neighbor that could have these kind of displays added. This is the company we normally use, and I just we want to double back. We can make the budget work. You don't need to worry about money. You've got plenty in savings, and I'm actually going to give you a good budget update here shortly in my update as well. So, but it's really a question of, do you want to do a type of this thing in your streetscape? Because obviously none of the things have been lit before on the street poles. And then the second piece of that to talk about is, do you want to do anything in the gazebo park, which we can talk about separately. I think there's two questions there.
This is Angel. I think we should do something with the lighting. I don't have a preference either way, because I know what we talked about being more of maybe going more Christmas, but then or a snowflake. I don't care, whatever any kind of the group is and wants to do, I would support, but I do think we should do lighting.
Yeah, I agree. I think so too.
I agree too. I like that.
I'm a huge Christmas fan, but for this, I do kind of tend towards either the snowflakes or the candles or even the wreaths. But certainly that's just one opinion if other people have strong feelings.
I did get a text from John Barr because he's out of town. And his feeling is pretty much matches Holland's.
Okay.
I think I agree with that too.
What does Webster do? Or should we?
There are no lit street decorations on poles. So there's very few of our light poles that these would attach to that have power. It's really the new ones, hence why the end of the streetscape that just got done down by Novel Neighbor has power. So there is no powered light decorations on poles at this time. So you are the first district that sort of walk into this. We're actually looking at Old Webster's boundaries. I thought there were some poles that they may have, but it looks like they're out of the boundaries. Up on Rock Hill. But anyways, my point being is there's no precedent for this. It's in terms of street poles.
Is there a quick question?
Yep.
Looking at this, what about doing something like this skyline lighting and cross street garlands when you come in and out of Old Orchard?
We certainly can do it. I mean, we can, I'll check with Public Works to make sure we have the right poles and we can mount it high enough, so folks don't have any issues getting that, underneath it and all that kind of stuff. But we can do it if there's power. Again, that's down by Novel Neighbor. There should be power. I don't know if there's power up on the Big Bend Lockwood end of Old Orchard. So if it's
Do
going
they
to be
know-
lit, so.
Those like candle wreath skylines and stuff like that, they seem reasonable compared to some of these other like big things that we could probably try it out.
Certainly can. You're talking about the over the street versions, right?
Yeah, I think, cause like you said, we don't have a ton of lighted poles
Right.
throughout the whole district, so like it'd be kind of hard to do something in just one section and not continue it across, like the whole district. But if you could do things over the street that like welcomes people into this, and then maybe some smaller streetscapes along the way, that might be pretty cool.
I'm certainly happy to explore that. I think what I'm hearing there is potentially two options and we can price out both if you're interested in doing that. So again, looking at your budget and what your fund balance is for the group, I would not be concerned about cost. I mean, you've got the money if this is an area you want to invest in, improving the holiday light.
I think we should. I mean, I know when I was down there on the past that Murdoch cutoff, it was really hard to get people down there. So I think anything you can do down there to, bring people over there is a good thing.
I hadn't even looked at these, Steve. I love the idea of just because, I mean, we are literally at the corner. If you cross the street, you're out of
That's
Old
what I'm
Orchard.
saying,
We're
yeah. If
right
was
where I
over-
am. So to like sort of designate,
Yes.
right, that you're entering into Webster
Yeah.
would be awesome.
Yeah, I
Well-
think that'd be the best thing for you at least.
Yeah, I think
Thanks,
that's great
Steve.
too.
I love
I
it.
think that's great. And I think that'll kind of guide us on what the poles should have. So for example, if you're looking at a garland here that has a wreath, then we put the wreaths on the poles. If they have a candle, then put the candle on the poles.
Yeah.
Or snowflake on the poles. So
Yeah,
maybe
I am.
that's, yeah.
To me though, like this is something like all the other districts could follow suit if they liked what we're doing too. So like it's not something that we had to do by ourselves.
Good idea, Steve.
I like
I
it.
think this is this snowflake one here. I'll pull it up. Sorry. I know I'm clicking on things as you guys are talking. This is one I looked at. It's a little more money and we can obviously look at it as more of a lit version, but well, I shouldn't say it. Old Webster got new garlands, so they are sticking with a garland theme here in Old Webster. But their old garland is coming to you if you all want it to wrap poles in. Not that you have to get old stuff. You can buy your own new stuff if you want. But since we've had much more of a star, snowflake, I think candles, some of the non-lit just decorations that hang on your poles in the past. It's been sort of what we've had down your way.
What's that
Webster's
garland
been-
look like?
The garland is that the green just garland wrap that they put around the street poles in Old Webster. They decided to buy new stuff. I don't know if I haven't looked at the condition. I think it's actually pretty good. I think it's just a matter of their updating, but
think
I also don't want Old Orchard to think they're the stepchild who gets all the hand-me-downs. That's not how it works, so.
No,
No,
but I
we're-
mean, we could use that though and do the garland
Mhm.
one too.
Right.
Sorry, so you said they're just doing updated garland, but they don't have they're still doing wreaths, but they're just not lit up wreaths.
Yeah, they don't have any wreaths. It's really just
Those-
garland and red
it's
bows
just-
on the poles. Yeah,
It's garland and bows.
bows, yes.
Okay, all right, thanks.
So
Um,
again, I'm happy. What I think I'm hearing is you're looking at some skyline entries, so things like this over the street, if we can make that work, and then a corresponding similar theme to a lit pole and down on your way, down the Novel Neighbor Way, down by Dale.
Yeah, what if I mean, if people have strong opinions, right, and I don't mean strong negatively, if people have opinions right now, maybe toss out like one or two of the favorites of what they might be, and then, I mean, I don't know if it's worth then, and I know sometimes responses are tricky when we try to get the whole district involved, but I was gonna say, maybe we go with like find a top three and then get some people to weigh in on it, because I think sometimes when you have all the options, it's tricky, but if we could come up with like 2 or 3 that we like, and then get some other weigh-ins, especially for the rest of the people that are on the committee. And otherwise, we can just pick some.
Right. So I completely agree. I think if we can end up with a couple, 3 that I can check prices on for you and also make sure they'll work, right? And then I can circulate them back. But really today, I think looking across, is it snowflakes? Is it intentionally Christmas, or do we stay with a much more holiday winter theme? Those types of things will help define the choice for me to get you guys all that stuff.
I think
What do you-
anything that increases lighting is a good thing too. So that's the other thing to think about.
Yeah, I'm happy to go back and look at this skyline and I mean, I don't know if everybody has, 5 minutes after we're done to maybe email Eric like your top 3.
Okay.
Then that way you've at least got our way in and you can price check just on it. Whoever has an opinion can just send it to you, Eric.
Yep. That's great.
Okay, let's do that. And then the next part was the gazebo lighting. Can you remind me about that? I
Yeah,
wasn't sure.
so
what we were-
the tree is obviously gone. We
Yeah.
will not have a signature tree for lighting the holiday season. I just wanted to check, there are ground display pieces, which, we could certainly go to a ground display in Gazebo Park for the lighting. These are things you put up, obviously multi-season, but I'll just, there's an example, right? Something you stick in the ground, they light up. Or we can just simply put Christmas lights on the gazebo. What are we going to do for a lighting if we're going to have this big throw the switch lighting type of thing, like we've done in the past, since the tree's got some oomph to it, so.
I mean, you
I
guys
think
do,
it should be. Oh, go ahead.
there is an animated dancing tree you could put in place of the other Christmas tree.
That's exactly my point. There are trees, there are literally fake light trees, that we can,
I was gonna ask if there is a tree or a structure like outline of a tree
sure.
that could go maybe either over the top of it or next to it that
Yeah.
you could ceremoniously light.
I think we could, there are also the lightings where you essentially put a pole up and have the string, you know what I mean, and all that kind of stuff. So we can do a lot of things. I don't want to go into spending your money without having a conversation. Is that something you want for a couple of years? Or is it just simply have parks get creative and put some lights up best they can and, we turn them on type of thing, so.
Remind me, do we have the Santa's mailbox again, or do we do that anymore, or did it got destroyed?
No, we still have it. It's still, the Old Webster asked to borrow it during their open house for the holiday. That's in November. We bring it down here and then we bring it back to Gazebo for the remainder of the season. So it stays at Gazebo Park, Santa's mailbox and such. And I think we have confirmed Santa, or we have confirmed Santa for the holiday open house. So,
Okay,
so we
Good
have an event.
Santa? Did we get the good Santa?
Yes, the Santa and Mrs. Claus.
Awesome.
What
With
is
the
the
weird
date on that?
beard.
Is it December 2nd?
Yes, December 2nd.
Okay.
I'll take a look. The trees seem really expensive. Not that I want to go away, but we don't want a sad replica for an actual real tree. I think the gazebo could be really pretty. And if we have Santa and we have Santa's letters, I think again, that's one person's opinion. And I can take a look at some of these trees a little bit more in depth, but I think if we sort of shift the focus of the sad missing tree and not try to have a stand-in, but maybe we can find one in here. I just hadn't looked at any of these.
And also, as I was thinking about it, there are other things. We have not done the deciduous trees, the non-Christmas trees, we could just wrap lights right around the base, and sort of give the whole park more light rather than just the one single evergreen at the peak there at the corner. So
I'd love that.
That'd be really cool, actually.
I
Like
do
if
too.
you- Yeah, like a candy cane park or something.
Aw,
Candy Cane Lane, huh? Right there off East
Yeah.
Upward.
Then we have to do candy canes on our poles.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'll leave it up to you guys. I'm not instigating that.
all right. So we're sort of leaning towards a lit up park, but not necessarily a lit tree. We're looking at some overhangs and we'll get you some themes for that. Are we good on lighting conversation?
I think so.
Awesome. All right, I lost my agenda because you got me on screen
Yep.
share. Hold on.
Sorry, next is traffic calming, so I'll just take it right into that because I'm gonna continue
Great.
the screen share. This is a link we're gonna share with all of you. This is St. Louis County's transportation projects, under design, which are projects that the street calming and such are. So I just wanted, this is a map you can all pull up when you get the link. Obviously, in your district, this is the project we've been talking about from Laclede all the way down to the Gazebo Park area, the resurfacing and the road diet that will happen. I also just wanted to point out there's other projects in your immediate area. This is Laclede going up from Big Bend all the way up to Manchester, Laclede and Hanley, coming up in 25, 26. Laclede south of you, just off Murdoch, going down to Yorkshire is going to get resurfaced next year as well. And the point I'm bringing that up is you have that project that affects your district has its own page and an own project number here. AR 1794. We'll send this out to you all. Just essentially the summary, what the plans are, again, as we talked about, late 23 for the resurfacing that we've all discussed. And then beginning 24, the project to put that road diet in place. Compliant curb ramps will be done in places. Now, certainly, I think on your end, that's been done. Hauling down by Dale because of the streetscape, but farther up in the district, making sure we have ADA compliance as people get on and off the roadway. And then our traffic signals will be upgraded as well by the county. So we've talked about the project. I just simply wanted to give you, this is the county's website for it. It'll stay active, and as it goes active, there'll be updates to the plans and such that are included in this. So happy to answer questions about that. And also the police chief and the city manager were meeting to discuss some temporary pedestrian, what do you call it? What are the plastic things called, Officer Rizzuto, that go on the roadway, like pedestrian signs and little markers to help slow people down a bit as people are trying to cross in the mid-block crosswalks. The slow sign, yeah, so. Getting some of those things put in place with some of the traffic calming money we have, so. Happy to answer questions.
Does that, I was just looking,
Yeah.
because I didn't realize you all were doing it. So the stretch where Summit and Lockwood, like right where my store is.
Yeah.
And this is maybe not the appropriate place to do this, but speaking of traffic calming, we see people on a daily basis.
Right.
Almost get hit.
You're
either
talking about a
crossing-
Lockwood crosswalk there?
Yes, either crossing or just cars pulling out because it's difficult to see. Since there's no stop sign as people come around there by Rogers. So, yeah.
So that's not part of this project
Okay.
that the county's doing, but that obviously did come up with the
Figured it was
BDC event, and so,
Okay.
you were there. That the BDC has sent it over to traffic advisory as
Okay.
well to go into to look at that pedestrian crosswalk area.
Okay.
Because even when I cross over.
It's
Yeah.
I mean, both of my employees park on the other side of the
Right.
street and I see them and
Yep. Absolutely.
everybody and like, ooh, it's a little scary. So, okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
No problem.
All right, rooftop lighting update, always my favorite.
Always your favorite. I have no update for you. I'm sorry. Everything else I've gotten handled. It's
Well
I
done.
can buy Christmas lights really fast. I cannot seem to get rooftops lit at all. I do have to talk to John. I see that his buildings on the south side are generally not being on at night, and I don't know if that's on his end if he shut them off or if he's got more problems that have come up, so.
All right. District events update, please. Anybody is that Fran?
Yes, ma'am. Gazebo series. Sponsorships, trying to wrap up and still pursue more. So now I'm gonna ask everybody that I haven't heard from that's on the call, if you're planning to sponsor this year.
Of course we will.
Of
It's
course
Angel.
we will.
Yeah.
I just got voluntold. That's what I heard.
That is right.
You can bring this for me too.
Oh, excellent.
Because I didn't get to do that last year, so let's do it this year.
Excellent. There is a trend, started last year, and most sponsors are going at the roadie level, which is the 150. I do have several new folks, which is nice. Got a couple that wanted to do something physically there, and so you have to be at least the middle to have a table. In fact, one of them is a wellness therapist. They work with children, so they want to do something on the first night because that's the kids' night. So that's kind of cool. But most everybody that is sponsoring is roadies, which is 150. Very few at the larger, so we're not bringing in as much money with the sponsorships as of yet. And I'm gonna have to cut it off pretty soon because I gotta get the promotional stuff with everybody's signs made. Other than that, we're good to go. You said you got, still hate to hear from Nerix.
Right, so the permit is all approved from the city. We have no issues as always. The only thing is Nearing's starts school on the 15th that week that you guys have the first one.
Okay,
And so their exit is a left turn only on the East Lockwood. So when they come out of Nearing's, their driveway, they're supposed to go down East Lockwood to Old Orchard. So we're trying to figure out what time we can fully shut down East Lockwood. So at 5 as normal, we will shut it down, but we'll create a driving lane, essentially going down the parking lane right in front of your store, Steve. We'll send the cars down, you know, a slow speed parking lane as a driving lane so they can exit out of Nearings. We're just going back and forth with Nearings. It's 5:30 good, you know, we're trying to give you all enough time to get set up and such, and then, you know, also accommodate not having to force people to make a hard sort of right out of Nearings, then veer back to the left onto Big Bend, so. But other than that, city has no problem with that either, so.
Alright. So then, unless anybody has questions on that, we'll move on to the holiday happenings that we've talked about before on December 2nd. Okay, yes, Santa and Mrs. Claus are confirmed. They are not expensive, it'll be $400 for a couple of hours. Unfortunately, they have to leave for an evening event, so we won't have them when it's dark. So we can kick off with them. But they are excellent. Old Webster has used them for the last several years. It's Santa is a retired teacher. And his beard is real. Which makes a huge difference. But they bring that now. I do want to ask, normally when we have them in Old Webster, they give out candy canes, which Old Webster pays for. Do you guys want to do that?
Yeah,
I see one.
Yes, please.
I don't see why not either.
Don't see why
It's not
not,
like
yeah.
it's a big deal.
No, let's do it. We talked about reindeer at the last meeting. We did price them. They were not available for that day, and Bob and I made just an executive decision. The dates they were available already were just simply really not going to work with the whole goal of trying to prioritize the theme. I mean, they had Thursdays available, and that didn't seem to be
You know, they were much later in December.
yeah, so.
I did confirm with the youth group that sang last year and they're in.
Will they be there kind of maybe towards evening if we're trying to make it an all day thing if Santa's gone?
Yeah, they're absolutely willing to do that.
Awesome.
I think we'll be able to program, you know, between Santa and such like that, and then, you know, use the choir as a good transition to hide the fact Santa's not there, so.
And you could tie in something with Santa's mailbox if a business wanted to do that. And then, of course, there's potential for carnival rides.
Right, so I think this goes to the conversation that Peter brought up and, you know, from the city's perspective, not close to it at all. We have closed Summit in front of, you know, your business before Webster Arts just recently
Mhm.
had it closed. And East Lockwood could be closed again, you know, it's a question with East Lockwood, want to make sure Starbucks, Nearings, you know, Steve, your business, Subway and all that is prepared but I think in the spirit of this event, I don't think there'll be much issue from them, and given it's a Saturday, but we always do just want
You know,
to check that.
Closing that, you know, after like 1 o'clock on Saturdays, that street is most days. I mean, after 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, there's not much going on there.
I don't think it'll be an issue. I'm just bringing up.
No,
you know,
it won't
we'll
be.
we want to double check all those things.
And if you check with Starbucks, you could even talk to them about it, because I think they close up early on Saturdays sometimes too.
So I think probably hearing from our guests, you know, that there's an interest, and we did talk about this some last meeting about sort of, you know, as we did last year, having sort of a dual yoked event, and do we in some way bring them together? I will tell you right now, again, with this event and others, you have funds available. This past year's budget that just ended, you ended quite well. I'll give you the report shortly, but you have a lot more money on your savings and fund balance that you don't have to worry about, because we didn't spend it all in 23. So we've got plenty of funds if you want to try to make a bigger event and have some support for it. We can get to all that, but I want to make you aware that it's an option that I think you could pursue if you want to.
I can also, pardon me, I can send links to their website, as well as they've got some promotional videos, drone footage, which is pretty impressive, I think. But yeah, and any other questions you might have with regards to size of the rides, you know, how many people they'll accommodate, whatnot, any of that.
Arts commissions and chambers. So I think folks, we're looking, we don't have to decide, but you know, is this something you want to pursue? Should we look at the pricing and, you know, obviously I'll give you a budget update, but is that?
Yeah,
I think it's
we
in the
would-
spirit of what
Yes,
we
I-
talked about last year, so, or last meeting, sorry.
Yes, I think once we see pricing and then by then we'll have more information about what some of the lighting we want to do. And I just sort of maybe we'll come into, you know, what all that together looks like. Maybe we set what our budget is and then see what we can fit within that. But yeah, I think this is starting to sound like it's going to be quite the festive event.
So, and let me just ask Peter and then also the group here. You know, in the past, obviously, we've been confined sort of in Gazebo Park. We have Santa there. We want to try to center activities there. Peter, this is obviously your idea. Are you trying to have the focal point be more on Summit? You know, what I mean, where's the focal point of the event and the?
Well, and I didn't know because, I mean, I realized there are
Yeah.
two separate locations, but I want this to be a good situation for everybody. I had thought, I don't believe that the Ferris wheel will fit in front of Steve's. I think it would have to go on the side, which yes, is in front of my store, but just height wise.
Sure.
But I mean, if there was a way to tie in
Right.
at the same time, we have events here, we have
Sure.
events there and make it,
Yeah.
you know, and again, I would really love to tie in with Miracle on Summit
Right.
because
Yeah.
that's, you know, sort of was the impetus for all of it. was
Sure.
to
And I,
get people-
the reason I bring that up is if you all think, Old Orchard does have some potential, if we're not gonna shut East Lockwood down, which we don't do for the lighting. Old Orchard itself could be shut down and essentially in front of, Ross and Berzini in that area. So I mean, if we need to look at different spaces, there's other options than just a little segment of East Lockwood,
Right.
so.
Yeah, let's get the pricing to know if we're talking about one
Yes.
piece or if multiple pieces, and then I think we'll be able to figure that out a little better.
Sounds good. Okay,
All right. Fran, you got anything else for me?
The only other thing you guys talked about last month was, and I just wanted to find your feelings, we talked about incorporating Toys for Tots in addition to the Operation Food Search. And putting those in businesses, not just in the park and not just on Summit. And to get the business involved, we talked about a holiday stroll through the businesses. You know, because you want people in the door.
I like that too.
We could tie that all in with this one event, so I just want to get, if that's something you guys are interested in.
Yeah, is it, remind me what day are they doing the holiday cookies again this year?
Doing the what?
The holiday cookie recipe thing that we do sometimes every year?
No, wait, that left in COVID and it's not coming back.
See, time flies. I forget that things. Okay. So
you should
I
have
didn't know
saw
if we didn't do it
Fran's
last
face
year.
when you mentioned the cookie thing. She was like, oh God, no, no.
No, that's
no more
totally
cookies."
fine. Alicia used to love to bake the cookies. Yeah, I mean, I again, I don't see that there's any reason why, you know, that's no work on, I mean, if I'm backing into the answer, like, I think a holiday stroll could easily be, you know, just kind of worked into this. And, you know, I know Amy from Cake Pop has been doing tons of pop-ups, you know, with her. So, you know, we could talk with her. I mean, I think if we just designate a night, businesses can participate or not, depending on, you know, what their hours are for that day. I know sometimes, I know with some of the banks and things like that, they're not necessarily open, but, and then, you know, in regards to the Toys for Tots, again, I think I don't see any downside. Businesses can choose whether or not to participate, and we can kind of have a timeline of, you know, when they want to collect the boxes or how that works. I don't know that would be in conflict with if we're going to work with the food as well for this particular event.
I don't think so. Yeah.
This is shaping up to be a stroll in Candy Cane Lane.
I'm liking the idea. I love it.
I'm glad to hear that. I've been stewing about this for 2 years, so. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. It'd be great if we could go from one end to the other. It's really not, I've walked it. It's 10 minutes from basically Summit to Novel Neighbor. It's not a huge
No,
jaunt
not at
to
all. It's not.
cover the area.
Well, and you have, not that Telly Tire has a great holiday retail need, but you've got. Both sides have some attraction now, and there's the new salon studio going in across from Telly Tire, so I mean.
Yeah.
You know, it's not as it was in the past, the last couple of years, so.
No, and I
So
would make
do we
the
have a
assumption,
date?
sorry.
That's okay. Do we have a date for this? Are we doing it the,
December 2nd.
2nd.
Oh, sorry. So we're doing the same night as the lighting?
I think we're talking about all this all day, all together.
Correct.
Yeah.
I should probably check with my,
Then
sta-
You could have businesses starting to decorate their own windows and stuff.
Right.
You can start looking like there's a town that's Grapevine, Texas, which is near the airport, near Dallas. And it's, talk about strolling through, it's just unbelievable how many people are there and how much everybody puts up and decorates.
well, and there's so many new businesses. I have a feeling they're gonna, hopefully they'd want to participate.
Right.
In this area.
Well, and I know we don't do much because it's all the, I don't mean this mean, it's all the crappy stuff that people have to see if they come in or if it's not a good situation, but maybe I should just tag team with somebody and be there. I can bring dog treats and whatever and, you know, and something such as that if it's, so anyway, I think it's a good call.
Yeah, Angel, were you involved when we did Santa with the animals, with pets?
Yes, I brought gifty bags
You
for
did that
any
one
of the
year,
game. Yeah.
where you didn't have your kids sitting with Santa, you had your dog sitting with Santa.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a,
Webster Arts just did the thing with the pups,
Mhm.
blocks the street off, which had a
oh,
big
that's true, they
turnout.
did.
Yeah, and I've spoken to Heather and Jenny both about partnering on some things too, so I'm sure that they would be into this as well.
Excellent.
All right, other things I want to be mindful of our time. We were at 8:37.
That's all
Anything
for
else?
me.
That's it for you?
Yep.
Okay. All right, then, looks like we're going into new business. Steve, Chess in the Park.
So I brought this up because it seems like a really good opportunity. Over like the last year, I've been coaching my kids, not coaching, just I don't do much with chess, but I guess all the schools have chess clubs and stuff like that and chess teams. And so I was just kind of like looking into it. You know, like Webster University is like one of the top chess things in the country. And like every grade school in Webster Groves has a chess team. And we have all these parks. We don't have any chess tables out there. That was weird. I mean, I'm not from Webster, I don't live in Webster, but like every elementary school in town of Webster Groves has a chess team because of Webster University. You know, I know a lot of things we talk about is like for residents here in Webster Groves and businesses in Webster Groves, but like, you know, since I moved locations, I see a lot of stuff on the campus and I get some of the chess players into the pharmacy and stuff like that now, but there's nowhere for them to play outside. I think that could be huge. I mean, it doesn't take up a lot of space, but like, even when I was like looking at it this morning, you know, I didn't do a lot of research on this more than like 10 minutes while we were talking, but I mean, like, even St. Louis has a chess club and they have the World Chess Hall of Fame here and all this other stuff. But I think this could be really good for Webster Groves. Because you guys have a ton of parks. You try to encourage people to come outside to get outdoors. And all you would need is some like concrete chess tables.
I think that's a great idea. Eric?
Yep, so it's heard obviously from staff. Now, I think if you as the business district are interested essentially in Gazebo Park, that's the park that you have space that connects with you. What I would say is you could decide to formalize a letter to the Park and Recreation Commission and the Parks Department, encouraging them to do that. They could, you know, ultimately the cost of installing, they may come back and say, are you interested in supporting that in some way? You know, that type of thing, but that's really the group that is all about, are we gonna add those features to the parks? You know, is that commission and then the department? And I think that would be your move if that's something this group wants to endorse and say, we'd like to see that in Gazebo Park and potentially elsewhere in the city. You know, we can put together a letter for you to send, you know.
I'm telling you what, I think like even those chess tables around, like I was in Scranton, Pennsylvania last week. And I mean, even their businesses there and coffee shops had places like chess tables inside there and stuff like that. And I think I'm just surprised that like all these other towns have this stuff and that you have such a, Webster Groves has such a huge tie to chess, and it's not anywhere in town.
I think we'll blaze the trail here, Steve. I'm happy if other people agree to help get a letter together. And then I think
All right.
as soon as people see how fabulous it is, all the other parks are going to join us.
Okay, let's do it. I think you
All
can
right.
do more than one table though, 'cause I think it's gonna fill
Oh,
up
yeah.
pretty fast.
Yeah.
I'll put
Did
together a
you-
letter and I
Yeah.
can send it around to everyone and when it's all ready, we can ship it off to Parks and Rec, so.
Steve, could you start one? I mean, are the rest of the Old Orchard people okay if we submit this on behalf of our business district?
I'm fine with it.
I'll do it.
Okay. All right. Let us know what you need. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Abigail Abby, is on for Fitness Week in the park.
Abby, you're muted if you're trying to talk to us, if you're there.
All right, sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So I gotta make this quick. I have a son that's sick in the car with me. Yeah, so we actually just did a retreat with my business, the Boulevard Hair Company, and we had multiple, we tried to incorporate fitness in the retreat, and we had multiple kind of Zumba people come in and yoga people. And I thought it would be kind of cool to do something like that in the park, like fitness in the park. I think you guys would have a lot of attendees. I've noticed that Webster Groves is, you know, there are a lot of people out that they walk, they run, they enjoy that kind of stuff. And so I thought that might be kind of fun to do over the summer. I know that we had a lot of people attend when we did it. Not only were they, you know, employees of mine, but they were also, you know, patrons of my business. So I thought it'd be kind of a cute, fun idea to get people out there and maybe do a week long of, you know, health and fitness in the park. And you can have attendees, wellness centers come out and teach about certain things, chiropractors come out, but you can also have like, you know, one day Zumba, the next day's yoga, the next day's whatever.
Good idea.
I think the same concept applies. That certainly Parks and Rec has fitness instructors. We have many classes. They all go on, I think, really in the rec center, probably some use outside space right in that area. But that is something we can, you know, provide to Parks and Rec. We don't need a letter from, or if you really want to memorialize it from the district to yourself, we can put one together in that regard too, encouraging that kind of activity to happen in Gazebo Park and other parks.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think it's
awesome.
Great idea, Abby.
Awesome.
should-
Thank you.
Should I put a letter together for that, or is that just?
Yeah,
something- Okay.
I would love it if you would. And second question, do we have enough people on here that I jump off? My son just threw up in the car,
Yes,
so
yes.
I'm gonna have to jump off.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right,
Good luck.
thank you guys. I appreciate it. But if you get a letter together, I'll do whatever else I need. Fran, if you can just text me over or email me over what I need to do on my end, I will be more than happy to do that.
Will do.
All right, thank you guys.
All right. Looks like next is BDC update.
So briefly on the BDC update, the business coffee was a great success. We are planning in August, the next business coffee. I think most of you have heard this update, but Old Orchard had a lot of folks there. I know, Peter, you were there and others were there. They were very interested as well in it's the Old Orchard Merchants Association is the actual name.
Merchants and Business Association of
So-
Old Orchard.
The nonprofit side, the grouping, the membership grouping of the businesses in the district, and really sort of reactivating. It's active. I mean, Bob is the chair of that as well, and it exists. But you know, essentially to help do events and all these types of things. So it's not just a taxing district function, and i.e., you are not different from the city. A taxing district is part of the city. So you know what I mean? It's not just city events, but how do the businesses really plan things and such. So I saw a lot of energy from that. And BDC is very interested in how do they help support those types of the non-government entity, right? Those organizations that are helping to come together, support them and help in other places in the city as well. So expect to see that in August, and then lots of referrals out of that. Comments like the Lockwood Summit crossings, sidewalk and such, you know, really not a BDC thing, but certainly important to businesses. So referring those to other agencies with, you know, we heard this, please take a look type of referral letters going out. Fran, did I miss anything?
No, you got it.
And also, if you have open jobs, workinwebstergroves.com. Please send us in open jobs that you're looking for people for. So we'll post them up.
City update.
So I'll turn it to Councilmember Smith in a second. I just want to share with you this budget update that I was promising you all because you have good news, and I'll pull it up here. This is the budget for 23. So this is the year that just ended. I want to highlight your revenue came in at 328% of budget. So you are 9,000, almost $10,000 more in property taxes than we estimated. And your business licenses came in at $9,000 over what we estimated as well. The other good news is, this is the transfer out to parks to pay for their costs. Their budget came in at just a shade over about 50% of what we anticipated. So you're going to get a refund of probably about $15,000 in this line item. So it won't be the whole 36,000 out. And then your expenses were at 43% of budget, which, is a very, great number. You saved lots of money. And so this number here of, 32,000 left that you didn't spend, this will go far down. You're going to really be in a great spot. Your fund balance improves with all of this, that savings that you have. So we'll get final numbers. The year hasn't closed yet in terms of all the transactions coming in. But I just want to give you that update that you really have a good budget position, that you're in, and a lot of good savings if you want to make some investments and use for things. So.
Eric, can I ask a question? I forget another business owner was talking. Are there still those proposals? Do we have something in our district that businesses can apply for a couple thousand for some just outside prettiness? I'm not doing it justice, but I remember that a few years ago. Or is that in other districts, or is that still a thing?
So it is still a thing. Crossroads is probably the active one. Old Orchard, does have it. I don't think we've done it in Old Webster at any time recently. So certainly we do have that program, and I can provide it to folks. Blue Dahlia and that building has reached out about having their building lit with the lighting and such. So we're starting to see more of that. The facade grants, this line item right here, which we didn't spend anything in this past year, does exist. I think, and we've done $2,000 maximum limit on it, and it's just pretty much beautification to a facade and such to provide some support for that and cleaning it up.
So is that what it's called? Is it the facade beautification, or is it just something else?
It's called facade grant.
Okay, and it's for anything exterior that sort of makes outside look better.
Yeah, there's a couple of limits right on it. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's pretty expansive, and essentially, if it's beautifying the exterior, we're okay with it. So.
And is information about that online, or is there a link you can send out?
I'll send it out to everyone. I don't think it's online, and we need to put it online. It's just not something in the past that's been there. So I'll get it.
Awesome.
I'll get it online.
Thank you.
No problem.
All right, and then was Emerson, who's going to report? Yep, great.
Council member.
All right, thank you. Just a few items to bring to your attention. The Charter Commission is still moving in a good pace. We expect that they will make their recommendations to the council probably around October or November. We'll be going through that process. Also, we'll be adopting our formal strategic planning and its tactics that was delivered by our different directors of the different departments of the city. The budget, we are planned to come in the year of 2024 in the black. That's correct, Eric, right? In the black. So I salute all of the directors of the different departments. They really put made some difficult decisions and enhance the budget process by really looking deep into the department. So we're glad of that. It's been quite a few years since we really came into the finishing year in the black. Mentioned the strategic plan. Also, there is a Empowering Women in Entrepreneurship webinar series coming up. Look at our website. That's going in July. Let me see, July, August. Yeah, one in July 28th, one in August the 3rd. To promote, women in business. Also, there is a $1,500 micro grant that's attached to that for those individuals that identify they live in Webster and they have businesses in Webster. So that's another opportunity for someone to get some little seed money. Let's see, we talked about the strategic plan as tactics and a idea that came up a few minutes ago about the chess in the park. That's a good idea. I recommend that you try to engage the school district with some of their chess club and their students to kind of move that forward. I think that'll be a great opportunity for the businesses to relate and engage with the students. They do have money to spend, you know, and so I think they'll enjoy being a part of that, especially as something new in Webster that they can start out. I think that is all I have. Anyone else?
Emerson,
Yes.
for those grants, is it for businesses only or is it for nonprofits in the area as well?
Good question. It says for those women, those who identify as women, live in Webster Groves and attend the seminar season, there will be opportunity to receive a micro grant.
Okay,
It does not say anything about new or existing businesses.
okay.
And can I just add to that? So Emerson's absolutely right in terms of the micro grant. Those are the qualifications. Nonprofits are certainly welcome. It's really meant to, how do we look at empowering women, overcoming the systemic barriers? I do want to point out the webinars, though, are not limited to entrepreneurs. If you have a business and you identify as male, you're welcome to join. So it's the micro grants, really the limited part from the granting agency that provided the funding. So.
Right. I'm registered for the events, and I suggest, like Eric said, you don't have to be a woman, just attend them. Anybody can attend them, and I think it's a good idea. So this is one of the, if I remember, Fran might know better, this is probably the first time that the city has done something like this, and we're probably going to do many more these types of
I don't
sessions.
ever remember that ever happening in,
Yeah.
I've been here a long time.
Yeah, you know, I sent the information to some of our Webster residents that love to stay on the internet, Facebook, and they was really, really excited about something like that happening. So other than that, unless someone has any other questions for me,
Thank you, Councilman.
quite welcome.
Holland, just quickly, Officer Razul, anything traffic wise or? Hey, traffic's great. That's what I heard. It's all great in Old Orchard, so no issue.
Excellent. All right, does anybody have anything else? Looks like our next meeting is going to be August 8th. If not, then if somebody can make a motion to adjourn.
It's Angel, so moved.
Second,
I'll second that.
Steve seconds. All in favor? Yay.
Yay.
Okay.
All right, it's been a pleasure. Everyone have a great month.
Thanks
See you
all.
later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Don't forget to send your light requests. Okay, bye.